So just a few bits of miscellaneous news and information in this quick video. Something I forgot to show in my last video, the comparisons between Charles Dance and Charles III. As while he didn't play the king in Game of Thrones, he basically controlled the city and had more power than the king. And this here is the so-called King Charles. Of course, I personally don't like calling anyone king but Jesus, so that's why I refer to him as Charles III. And since I meant to include this in my last video, I'll start off with this. From Charles Dance's birth date to Charles III's is 766 days. You've got your 66 twin number along with your 76 backwards 6-7. Also 2 years, 1 month, 4 days. You say it like they do in the UK, that's 21-4. Remember the Seattle Space Needle opened on 4/21. And it's also 25 months, 4 days. The 254th day of the year, of course, is 9/11. Also interesting to note that Peter Dinklage equals our 12-7, or buildings 1, 2, and 7 in ordinal. And Charles Dance's full name, Walter Charles Dance, equals our same numbers, only rearranged. Also just his last name, Dance, 27, 27, 18, 108, and 162 in Sumerian. Of course, the 27th day of the year is 127. Something else I wanted to talk about was this story about a 19-year-old who died after falling off the abandoned hospital building used in the Netflix series Stranger Things. Identified as 19-year-old Leah Palmerato. Now the first thing I notice is that Leah Palmerato equals 165. Of course, Trump's birthday is the 165th day of the year. And we also have our 66 twin number. And Palmerato doesn't give us much, but Leah, which actually is my mother's name, gives us our as above, so below order out of chaos number. And 26, remember 2026, the big year. The building is at 1256 Briarcliff Road in Atlanta. Top out the numbers and we get 147. Remember the 147th day of the year is the Golden Gate Bridge's birthday. Been seeing that number a lot lately. Also our big 137 number, the 33rd prime. We just recently had a blackout in San Francisco. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if something does happen to the Golden Gate Bridge eventually. Here's another picture of the building from afar. It reminds me of something else, but I'll get to that later. Wouldn't you know that Briarcliff building equals our 162 611 number? DeKalb County Police say the fatal fall happened shortly before 1 a.m. Friday at a vacant building on Emory University's Briarcliff campus near North Decatur Road. Officers said she was part of a group that had been exploring the abandoned 5-story structure when she fell and was pronounced dead at the scene. North Decatur Road, 77. Also that's an important number that keeps popping up in the Sumerian ciphers. Emory University's Briarcliff campus once again gives us a 162. And then just Emory University Briarcliff, 322 Skull and Bones, and the 142nd day of the year is 522. Remember, that's Memphis's founding date, the Gift air date. In that episode, The Gift, 2 people fall from the tower. 3 people really, but the third one actually jumps. Emory University's Briarcliff campus located near the main campus in Druid Hills. Druid is a historic 42-acre, that number 42, site featuring the Grand Candler Mansion, former Georgia Mental Health Institute buildings used in shows like Stranger Things and archival facilities, etc. Here's the mansion right here. Briarcliff was the mansion and estate of Asia Griggs Buddy Candler Jr. and is now the Briarcliff campus of Emory University. The estate was built in 1922 on 42 acres on Williams Mill Road, now Briarcliff Road in Druid Hills near Atlanta. Asia Jr. was the eccentric son of Asia Griggs Candler, co-founder of Coca-Cola. Remember the Coca-Cola connection to weapons. Also check out the address, 1260 Briarcliff Road. That's your 126 numbers, like 612. If you were in the UK, you would say it 126, 612, backwards 216, 84. And when you look at that, the NRHP reference number 88001167. That's got your 88 portal trump number, your backwards 611, your 67, your 76, and it was added to the NRHP on August 4th, 1988, 8-4, and it has your 88. Wow, I had no idea that was going to be there. And of course, the NRHP is the National Register of Historic Places. So we have an August 4th connection that I wasn't even expecting. How crazy is that? Now, of course, she didn't fall from the mansion, but it's all part of the same campus, so it's interconnected. So going from the date that was added to the date she fell, 13,652 days. 6 plus 5 plus 2 is 13. So this would be twin 13s. And she fell on 12/19, which adds up to 13. 9 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1. You also have a backwards 614 Trump birth date with your 37 or 73 EL number. And 37 plus 4 plus 16 is 57. Michelle Trachtenberg died on the 57th day of the year, and she was in that tower sacrifice episode that aired on 5/22. We also have a 44 kill number with an 8/16. You know who died on 8/16 back in 1977. So yeah, what are the odds that there would be an 8/4 connection with this incident? I had no clue. And it also connects to, you know, the gift episode where people were falling off the sacrificial tower. Trachtenberg was in that. So was Claire Kramer, who is from Atlanta, where this building is. Now, if I go from 8/4 to the date of the incident in the same year, it's 137 days. There's your big occultic 137, which of course is also your 713. And back around in the same year is 228 days. You know who died on the 228th day of the year, August 16th. Also, just out of curiosity, since it was added to the register the same year Erica Franzwey, or Kirk, was born, it was added 108 days before her birth date. Your 18 number yet again. So we're getting both his birth date and his death date in connections to this story. Now, I don't know anything about Stranger Things. I don't watch that show. It doesn't interest me. So there might be some other stuff coded into that show that I don't know about. I don't know. I'm just doing the story because it was interesting. Now, if you go from that date to 8/4 next year, it's exactly 38 years. The 38th prime number is 163. Remember, the 163rd day of the year is 6/12, George Bush Sr.'s birth date. Your backwards 216, 8/4 number. Also 456 months. And the 456th prime is 3221. Remember, the 1 is meaningless, so it's just your 322 skull and bones number. Of course, here, 3 plus 1 is 4. 8 plus 7 plus 9 is 24. 4, 2, 4. It'd be 42 forwards, 42 backwards. But if you include the end date, you get your 88 portal trump infinity number with the occultic 13. And 8 plus 8 is 16. 3 plus 1, 4. Backwards, 6/14. Trump birth date. In fact, including the end date even gives us a backwards 165 here. And remember, the 165th day of the year is Trump's birth date as well. We also have a 45. Anyway, getting back to the story about the fall here. Now, I don't know about you, but this just sounds a little weird to me, like from someone whose daughter just died, but that's just my opinion. Her father, Todd Pomerado Jr., said police came to his door with the news. She was perfect, he said. I was blown away. I just wasn't sure. Investigators said the group had entered the abandoned building when the fall occurred. Pomerado believed his daughter had visited the property before. Going to these places are dangerous, being with people that you really don't know. Like, we just kind of always had something in the back of our mind that something could happen, he said. Well, if that's the case, why don't you do something about it? I'm just hoping it was instant. I just hope she felt no pain, he said. He said that her death will be especially difficult for her 2 brothers. Now, I swear that I saw a site that said her brothers were twins. But now I can't find that anywhere, anything that states that they were twins. I know for a fact that initially they had said that her brothers were twins. Sort of weird that they would say that and then retract it. But I can't find it any longer. I know I read it before, though. And I didn't get to this story immediately because I've had a bad head cold. Anyway, regardless of whether they're twins or not, 42. And the dad's name gives us both our order out of chaos as above, so below 222, and our address of the Briarcliff mansion. Go figure. Briarcliff Road building. Our backwards 911 and our 142 again. Remember, 522 is the 142nd day of the year. And the numbers just keep adding up with this one. Briarcliff, your 8/4, 57. Michelle Trachtenberg died on the 57th day of the year. 216, which is 8/4. And of course this, your big upside down 91101 number, which again, in these ciphers, the numbers I've been seeing the most of lately are that, the 1110, the 888, the 162s, the 612s, and the 1086 beast system numbers. The beast system, 1086. Main reason I use these ciphers, they code a lot of the beast system numbers. And of course, without the Beast system is 888. And Briarcliff Road, you're 77. You're 612, backwards 216. Fatal Fall, FF 66. Loved ones lit candles and told stories Tuesday night of the young woman who fell to her death at an abandoned building in DeKalb County. She was truly amazing, said Ansley Donnelly. We've got the Zlee, like Presley here, and Donnelly almost sounds like Donald. What I tell you about those 162s in the Sumerian ciphers right there. We also have a 66 twin number. So, going further into the story here, Leah's friends and family packed into her favorite skate park in Kennesaw. Skate park in Kennesaw, our 217 weapons number, which is also our 127 buildings 127 EL number, backwards 611. And I told you about those 612s too. Skate park. I'm sorry, but this is your family member. Who talks like this? I'll be honest, I'm man enough to say I cried. I mean, you're talking about one of your family members here. You're man enough to say you cried, really? You're man enough, huh? Interesting that the name of the skate park is Swift Cantrell, as to have the Swift in there, like Taylor Swift. It's the day before Christmas Eve. Like, who shows up for somebody the day before Christmas Eve? This is a great turnout, said her father, Todd. Like, really, man? Who talks this way about their daughter, dude? It just, I don't know. And here's somebody else, Kaylee Smith, KS. That's 1119, backwards 91101 number with the initials. Oh yeah, in DeKalb County where it happened. Just so happens to equal 611 in Satanic for those interested. Also her dad's quote, "She was perfect." 888, same cipher as Beast System. Now here's a better look at the building from the air. And maybe it's just me, but it sort of reminds me of the Memphis Baptist Memorial Hospital where Elvis was pronounced dead, and which itself looks strangely similar to the Georgia Guidestones, as Garo has shown in his chat. I mean, definitely not an exact match, but sort of similar in a way. Just out of curiosity, if we go from the Memphis Hospital implosion date on 11/6, which by the way is the same date that Tony Todd from Final Destination series died, the same day that Marshawn Neeland, whose name equals 163, died this year, to Palmerati falling off the Stranger Things building. 73, 48 days. You got your EL number with your backwards 84. You've also got your 421 Seattle Space Needle opening date numbers here. But more importantly, 241 plus 13 is 254, and the 254th day of the year, of course, is 9/11. And if we go from the Briarcliff Mansion being added to the National Historic Register date to the Memphis Memorial demolition date, 6303 days. We have our 63666 number and our 33. Of course, 63 plus 3 is 66, your twin number. And wouldn't you know that if you go from the date of Palmerado's fall to the next anniversary of the hospital's demolition, it is exactly 322 days, your Skull and Bones number. Need I say more? And check out when Asia Griggs Buddy Candler Jr., the Briarcliff guy, died. January 11th, 1953. That 111 number. Remember, the Seattle Space Needle opened on the 111th day of the year, and 9/11 leaves 111 days remaining in the year. And to put the nail in this strange story's coffin, from his death to Palmerado's death this year, 26,640 days. 26 plus 640 equals 666. So yeah, I knew there was something strange about this story right from the start, like maybe a sacrifice for the Stranger Things show. Apparently they're about to have their finale because people on the YouTube videos were making jokes and saying, oh, she's going to miss the finale. Just goes to show you how people are these days, even if it's not a true story. All the callousness and demons out there. And Asia Candler Jr., 165, Trump, of course, born on the 165th day of the year, your 66 twin number, and once again, your 162. Also wanted to briefly mention the death of former Atlanta Braves player Albert Hall. Another Atlanta story, go figure. He was selected by the Braves in the 6th round of the 1977, there's that year, Major League Baseball draft out of Birmingham's Jones Valley High School. He died at the age of 67, which is obviously a big number in my decodes. And during his MLB career, he stole 67 bases, was caught stealing 29 times. Of course, 67 equals Elvis in gematria. 2 9s is 18. Elvis born on 1/8. Also interesting to note that his MLB debut was September 12th, one day after 9/11. And he ended his MLB career playing for the Pittsburgh Pirates, the PP. Of course, his initials AH 18. On September 23rd, 1987, he hit for the cycle, which means he died exactly 84 days after the 28-year anniversary of him hitting for the cycle. Also 2 months, 23 days, which is your backwards 322 Skull and Bones. And of course, 2016 hours, your 216.84. And how interesting, they died 16,166 days after his MLB debut, and he died on the 16th. Also, 1 plus 6 is 7, and 1 plus 6 plus 6 is 13. 7/13, Trump ear clip date, Shannon Doherty death date. And you've got your 611 numbers in there, as well as your 666. 66 twin number. And from his final MLB appearance to his death, 13,225 days, we have our 13, we have our 322 Skull and Bones, we have our backwards 522 Memphis founding date, the gift air date. And reading this backwards, this will be a 31. 31 days beyond 522 would be June 22nd, which is your backwards 226. Remember, Michelle Trachtenberg died on 226, and she was in the 522 The Gift episode. And if you subtract the 31 rather than add, it lands on 421, the Seattle Space Needle's opening date. So no matter which way you go, it lands on an important date. Also, 1 times 3 is 3, of course, and 2 times 2 times 5 is 20. The 320th day of the year is 11/16, the upside down 9/11/01. We also have our 36 years, 2 months, 15 days. Your 36, of course, you say it backwards like they do in the UK, 21/5/5/21, Pearl Harbor premiere date. Include the end date, and this would be a 2/16/8/4 with your 36. In the same year, he died 76 days after his final MLB appearance, which would be 77 days and 2 months, 16 days if you include the end date. Of course, his batting average was those 5-2-1 numbers as well. And he died 24,756 days after his birth. 2 plus 4 is 6. 7 plus 5 plus 6 is 18. A backwards 8/16 Elvis death date. And we know he was 67 when he died, but also 9 months, 9 days. Of course, 9 plus 9 is your 18. So both of your Elvis numbers. And of course, 8/13 plus 9 is 8/22. Irina Zarutska death date. But more importantly, backwards 228. Remember, Elvis died on the 228th day of the year. Also interesting to note that 24 times 756 equals 18,144. And 18 plus 144 just so happens to equal 162,611. Also, how interesting that he was from Birmingham, Alabama, and that Birmingham was incorporated on December 19th, 1871. And of course, the girl who fell from the building fell on December 19th in Atlanta. Going from that date to Hall's death, 56,245 days. 5 plus 6 is 11. 2 plus 4 plus 5 is also 11. Twin 11s. And 11s also look a lot like the Twin Towers. 153 plus 11 plus 27 is 191. Your 9/11 numbers. And 1847 plus 27 is 1874. 8 plus 1 is 9. 7 plus 4 is 11. 9/11. Also 8 plus 7 plus 4 is 19 for your backwards 9/11. And real quickly, I wanted to mention more about Trevor Goddard, who was in the Mortal Kombat film and died on 6/7/2003. Of course, 6/7, the Elvis Jesse Water number. He was born the same year the Space Needle opened. From his death to Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa, who played Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat's death, 82/16 days. Of course, you have your 2/16/8/4 number in there. 8 plus 2 is 10. 10/16, which would be your backwards 6/11. 2 times 8 is 16, so you would also have 2 16s like twins. You also have your 5/27 Golden Gate Bridge birthday and your backwards 5/22 The Gift air date, Memphis founding date. In the same year, he and Tagawa died 180 days apart. Your 1/8, also like your Flight 180 and Final Destination. course, 5/27 in the months and days. Golden Gate Bridge birth date. In the Mortal Kombat movie, Bridget Wilson's character kills Trevor Goddard's character Kano by snapping his neck. From her birth to his death, we have our 8-4 and our 47. Also, 8 plus 4 plus 7 is 19. 10, 19, backwards 9, 11. In the same year, 110 days, the amount of floors in each of the World Trade Center towers include the end date, it's 111. I forgot to mention in those videos that Shang Tsung took Sonya captive and took her to a tower in Outworld and held her prisoner. And Trevor Goddard's character in Mortal Kombat, Kano, equals 67 in Gematria, and he died on 6/7. But anyway, just a few loose ends from some past videos, as well as some new stories that I wanted to touch upon. I've been under the weather, so not a really focused video this time around. But anyway, all glory to God, and as always, thank you for watching.